Welcome back to our Wednesday afternoon live broadcast. Today is a truly special day for me. We have a very, very special guest. He is my boss. He is gentleman, capital G, scholar, capital S. He is the chair of the English department here at Foreign Catholic University. Welcome, Professor Murphy.
Thank you. That's quite an introduction. Maybe I should quit while I'm ahead. It's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you, Andrew, my former advisee, for inviting me here. And I also want to thank the invisible staff that's in front of me here, who is helping with all kinds of things. And I also want to thank Starbucks for the coffee. That's not a product placement.
Thank you, Professor. So we are talking today, our topic is of course cross-cultural communication and travel. So our topic is called Transpacific and Transatlantic, Travels of an American Literary Scholar. So I guess we should begin by introducing your work a little bit. You are an English major. You were an English major.
That's right.
And you became English professor here in Taiwan. Mm-hmm. And so I guess the first question that I'd like to ask is, how did you become a literary scholar? And particularly, how did you become a literary scholar here in Taiwan?
Right. Well, I think the short answer to why I became a literary scholar is because I love literature and I love being a scholar. And I love being a scholar because my father is a scholar. My father is in his early 80s, and he's still reading and writing, and yeah, he was my inspiration. And I remember a time when I was probably 6, 7 years old, mm-hmm. and okay, I'll give the details. We were in the men's room, and he said to me, because we were talking with some of his scholarly friends, and so he was saying, what do you think of these literary scholars? And I said, what's a literary scholar? And he said, that's what I am. And then I thought, well, yeah, that sounds like a good career, because yeah, he was always talking about interesting things and collecting books, and there were books all over the house. And over the years, I read more and more, and the way that I sort of interact with books is that I love reading them, but it's not enough just to read. I want to write about the experience. I want to uncover layers of meaning. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think it's my father's inspiration.
I see. And as a child, did you travel a lot? And does your father travel a lot in his work as a literary scholar as well?
Yeah. Well, yeah. As a child, I traveled a lot in the United States. I've actually been all over the country. Some of those were actually kind of literature-related trips. Mm-hmm. My father does work on the American novelist Willa Cather, as do I. Both of us study other writers as well, but we have this in common. And so when I was around 3rd grade or so, we took a trip out. I grew up in Massachusetts, and we took a trip out to Nebraska, which is the country that Cather is best known for. Mm-hmm. And that was a road trip, and road trips have a way of kind of getting into your. I love the memories of being a kid and being in the back of a car, mm-hmm. and just driving, and it gets dark, and you just keep driving, and we had this kind of policy sometimes where we didn't know where we were going to stay. We would just like find a hotel. Right. And there was something just very exciting about that, and yeah, so I saw a lot of the country through my father's travels and where he brought us. We went also for his job. He went to seminars in Oregon, mm-hmm. In California, and mm-hmm. Stanford.
I see.
Yeah, so we got around quite a bit, and we never flew. We always drove.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a very American experience.
Very American
driving.
experience.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
But you had to fly to come to Taiwan, though.
I did. Yeah.
Yes. And how did you become a professor here at Furen University in Taiwan? How did you make the choice to be here?
Yeah. Well, I was finishing my PhD, and I was looking at the job ads on the Modern Language Association listing, and there was this job in Taiwan, and I thought, you know, I'm sort of young, I'm sort of free. Why not give it a try? And anyway, it's the first job that I got, and I basically had to make a decision in about a week whether to take the job. And I knew not very much about Taiwan, but I read up very quickly. I mean, I read up before being interviewed.
Yes.
And something in me just said to say yes, and so I did. And so then, yeah, I flew here shortly after finishing submitting my PhD and getting all of that paperwork done. And I remember that I arrived on September 9th, many years ago. September 9th, which in Taiwan is referred to as 9/9,
yes,
which in Chinese is Zhou Zhou. And
yes.
One of our teachers, Jennifer, she took me to lunch to, just to sort of welcome me. And yeah, she pointed out that everyone in the department was noting the fact that I was arriving on Zhou Zhou, and my name is Joe. Yeah. And so I got a sense from that there's a strange sense of humor in Taiwan, and I like that because I like puns, and maybe I can share some more puns with you.
Yes. Did you experience culture shock when you first came? The experience of traveling from America to Taiwan, is that an experience that was difficult, interesting?
Well, I can't say it was difficult because I just, I got on the plane,
yes,
and that was my first Trans-Pacific flight, and I had the sense. I mean, when you travel, actually, there's an odd way in which you kind of stand outside of yourself. You almost become like a fictional character. Like I was thinking, well, this guy is going to Taiwan. What's that going to be like? And at first it was definitely strange, but the department was so welcoming, and it's the little things that I noticed. It's the big things are obvious, but the little things that are different or kind of unique, you notice. Yeah.
Technical problem again. The internet just stopped.
Okay, we can
take some coffee.
We can take some coffee.
Do you want to know some questions from?
Yes. What are some questions you want to field us?
I saw the questions.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, why do you become the director of the Department of English Language? And there are other questions. Can you recommend some poetry for the beginner of English learners? And what fiction or non-fiction novels do you recommend? And what is the core of English language culture? Which literature is your favorite? Why? Which state is your favorite and what makes it so special? Those are the questions.
You can choose. This is your chance to.
Yeah.
You can choose one that you want to answer.
I can talk about the state I like.
The state.
Okay.
If you want to stick to travel, closer to travel. Okay.
Joe, are we okay?
Yes.
Okay, so we can continue.
Yeah. So
we'll continue.
You continue or?
Should we continue?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You ready?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
ready.
It's cognitive. I think it's because of this rule.